Hello and welcome back to Calradia Expanded at War, and we currently have this going on. Yeah, a bunch of you in the comments actually asked how this is going. Well, look at this! It's actually pretty exciting. We're only about 1,000, well, whatever this is, statistical value X or whatever. Anyway, we're only about that much away from causing some kind of thing to happen, whatever that may be. And thank you, by the way, to let me know that the arrows sticking in the armor thing, that's actually realistic. So that's good. Thank you very much for that. The only thing that I was getting at is mostly because the blood, you know, because obviously if you are wearing a padded shirt or something along those lines, or let's say if a medieval knight was wearing a padded shirt and the arrow or bolt was going to get caught in that rather than actually hitting the skin, then obviously there's not going to be any blood. But I'm talking about when I get hit in the face by a bolt and boom, there's blood. So I would assume that I've gotten, you know, hit in the head or something, and that would probably be an instant kill. But the point is, sometimes that doesn't happen. I get it. It's a game. Obviously, it's not meant to be 100% realistic or anything like that. But I was just, you know, thinking that that would be a pretty interesting point of discussion. And thank you for letting me know about that, actually, because that does make sense how, you know, the armor and the padded shirt and everything is going to act as a buffer for the body itself. And so, you know, it can very much end up with many knights running around like porcupines, as you mentioned. Anyway, there you go. This is the current situation with the balance of power. And we have, of course, in the previous episode, done an absolutely masterful job, or at least I would like to think it's masterful. Maybe maybe you don't think it's masterful, but I think it's masterful about what we were able to do there. If you missed that, I'd highly recommend checking it out. It was really, really cool to see, in my opinion. I'm actually just going to go in here for a small auto-resolve. I'm going to take this guy prisoner. Now, what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to try this. I don't know whether it's going to work. I'm also going to be trying to focus on getting as much money as possible now, because I don't know whether you noticed, but obviously if you missed the previous episode, we don't have a huge amount of cash, and there's a reason for that, obviously, because I was doing a lot of trading, and generally I had to invest a little bit of it to give us just a little bit more security than we had beforehand. Anyway, what I'm also going to do is I'm actually going to start executing minor factions, and we might as well start with this guy, right? So obviously they only have 3 members of their faction, so I might as well just start eliminating them. Let's do it. Here we go. We are going to lose some relation with people, and wow, we're actually losing a lot of relation. Look at that, decreased by 10. Ooh, okay, that's pretty harsh. That is pretty harsh, but I think it's actually kind of necessary, because if you think about what's currently going on here, we are having situations where the minor factions are the ones that are the most problematic. So that is obviously a bit of an issue. Oh, hello there. Oh yes, you just paid me, didn't you? I actually wanted to attack him, but oh well, never mind. Okay, ooh, Kulan's army is right here. I'd like to do battle with him if at all possible, but you know what? Maybe it would be a better idea for me to find a weakened castle or town to take. Caerbandseth is actually under siege as well at the moment. Let me see if I can go over... Oh, hello. There's a lot of vassals in the area. Ah, seems like my vassals are fighting. Who are they fighting, actually? Oh, never mind. He's running away. Fantastic. Who is it? Prindor. Aha, it is indeed Prindor. Okay, so let's just do an auto-resolve against these guys as well. Should be pretty easy. And I'm gonna let most of these guys go unless they are a part of a minor faction. Yes, indeed. There we go. That is also a minor faction. This is a minor faction. And yeah, that's also a minor faction. I kind of just want to try and prevent people from the minor factions actually being somewhat of a pain, because they are actually causing some big problems for my villages. You know, they're generally running around and doing a lot of raiding and everything, and eliminating of caravans and stuff like that, so I'd like to try and prevent that as much as possible. And I just ransomed them, didn't I? Yes, yes indeed. Okay. I just ransomed them. That's fine. I wasn't actually planning on executing them all in a row, because obviously I do have the opportunity to do that. I mean, it's pretty obvious that I can take these guys prisoner without too much effort exerted. But you have to bear in mind that I obviously don't want a huge amount of relation decreases in a row, because that's just basically going to make things very, very difficult for us in the long run, and I'd like to try and prevent that if at all possible. So I'm just going to try and stagger that as much as I can, and then we'll see what happens with it. Hopefully it's going to work out quite nicely. This is another person from one of the minor factions. Again, we are just going to be taking the loot, because even though the experience gain is pretty good, I am going to be taking most of the loot nowadays because I do need the cash. And it is pretty lucrative for me to do it this... Oh, actually, no money. There's no money in there. Okay, yeah, there's no money in the marketplace. Probably a pretty good idea to just leave it then, isn't it? Yeah, probably a pretty good idea. Anyway, so let's take a look at Dunglanis, shall we? Dunglanis is 581. Tynops is right there. I would like to fight him. Yes, indeed. Hello there. And it seems like he has someone with him as well. Alright, let's go in. Let's go in for a fight and see what we can do against him. Now, bear in mind, we do want to continue leveling up as much as we possibly can. Oh, he's just gotten a castle awarded to him as well. Garios gave him a castle. I didn't see that beforehand, but it seems like he has just gained one. I have no idea what kind of castle it is, or whether it's anything particularly useful to our strategy, I guess you could call it, you know, with our fief trading strategy. But yeah, it's nice to hear your confirmation as well. A number of you did actually show your support for this particular strategy, so I'm very happy with that. Because I initially thought to myself, is this actually a good idea? You know, when I thought of it initially, I thought, oh yeah, maybe it's a good idea. You know, maybe it's actually going to result in some pretty fantastic situations. And yes, indeed, it does seem to be helping us quite a bit. Nice. Oh, so much damage. Where are my archers? Oh, they're all the way back here. Yes, my cavalry. I have 57? Really? I have 57 cavalry? Wow, okay, that's actually quite a significant number. We're going to tell them to auto-delegate for the moment. And I'm going to try and eliminate a couple of the enemy's cavalry, if I can. Oh, there go the Vlandian sharpshooters. Oh yes, there go the Vlandian sharpshooters. We love them. They are fantastic. Oh, and I don't even know what the AI is doing right now, because they're literally just standing there. They're just standing there allowing us to bombard them with bolts. And I'm actually going to take my horsemen over to the left side of the area here, because what we want to do is we want to give our Vlandian sharpshooters an absolutely clear line of attack. And if the enemy's cavalry comes in, I will try to run some interference, of course, because that is obviously my job as a cavalry person as well. But we also have to bear in mind that, well, my archers could probably deal with that but themselves. They really don't need any assistance. I think they seem very, very capable of defending each other without too many difficulties. And now we can tell our cavalry to charge in, tell our infantry to charge in as well, even though the infantry are probably not going to be that effective right now, because most enemies are now running thanks to the enormous morale damage that we've been able to do. And there it is. Fantastic. And we lost 0. Yeah, I mean, obviously we're going to lose 0 if the enemy decides, hey, you know what, I'm just going to stand there in well, not a shield, in a circle formation. And that's it. They're just going to stand there in a circle formation. It's kind of weird, right? I have no idea why they would decide to do that, but there you go. They just stood there, probably because they saw all of the cavalry. That's probably the reason why they did that, because they see cavalry and they think, oh yes, circle formation, you know, pole arms at the ready on the outside of that formation, and then, you know, hopefully they're going to be able to defend against any potential number of cavalry. But they were completely outmatched by our sharpshooters. Of course. I mean, of course they would be. Anyway, let's continue onward here, and you know, do I actually care about people disliking us? Because I'm thinking to myself, maybe we want to literally just execute as many of these minor factions as I can, because I actually have a decent amount of fiefs now, and my security in those fiefs is pretty large. I don't think we really need to worry, so let's do it. Let's actually start executing a whole bunch of these minor factions, and we'll see what happens, because I'm going to be very interested to see. No doubt. Oh, here we go. We've gained the devious trait, because obviously we've now executed a whole bunch of people, which is to be expected. All right, well, that's not, in my opinion, too bad, and we are now going to be fighting these guys, so let's do it. Let's actually take care of them with a nice little auto-resolve. These guys are from major clans, so I'll probably just be letting them go. And, oh, they actually have a couple of Vlandian units as well. I will be very pleased to take them, thank you very much. Vlandian Knights, Vlandian Sergeant, Sharpshooters no less. Oh, very good. I was not expecting to see Vlandian units all the way out here, to be honest, but okay, there we go. And I'm very close to Sionon as well, so I will be going over there in just a second to sell our loot, to sell our prisoners and everything. And there we go, there's 5,000 for them, and we will now sell all of our armor. Look at that, another 40,000 right there. We're gaining some pretty decent cash, and we are not using smithing either, which is actually kind of amusing. Anyway, I'm going to take Remtoil Castle. Remtoil Castle's looking pretty weakened right now, so let's go in here. And this is one of those things that I remember being very difficult to take. So I'm going to try, if I can, to build a battering ram at the very least. If I'm unable to get that completed, then I'm going to have to go in nevertheless. But that is definitely something that I don't want to do at all. Are they defending but not going in? They're probably waiting for one more vassal before they decide to attack us. Maybe? I mean, at the moment we are having a much greater combat strength, so I can only assume that they're waiting for one. Yes, there we go. There's the 1 or 2 extra vassals. And the battering ram is just about done. Do you see that? Oh, that was so close. That was so incredibly close. But thankfully, it was done just in time. Alright, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna try and level up my crossbow skill here. I really want to level up, actually. I would love to be able to level up. If I can level up, then I'll be able to put another point in focus for crossbows, and that's going to be super nice. Now let's just try and get a couple of kills here. Nice headshot. This does look rather amusing, doesn't it? Every single person with the same exact shield climbing up the ladder in the exact same way. Oh well, never mind. Okay, so there's only 70 units remaining here. I mean, obviously the garrison is very sparse. That was the main reason why I actually launched the attack here to begin with anyway. And this is going to potentially give us an opportunity to trade this castle with another castle in Vlandian territory. I'm actually thinking about Verexand Castle potentially, because that is very close by to Oxhall, and I obviously own that now, so it would be pretty nice for me to do that. Ooh, bunch of people running away. Let me see if I can get some kills here. Ooh, there's a hit, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do anything more than that. Nope, no way. No way, way too far away for my liking, and of course enemies moving from left to right or right to left, very, very difficult. because that's basically strafing and very, very difficult to hit that for me. Anyway, we're going to auto-resolve this, get a nice little victory on our hands, take all the prisoners, thank you. And while that is 12,000 experience, units are going to level up whether they want to or not, and I don't really need to give them bonus experience because in the end they are going to level up, whereas my money situation is not going to rectify itself through, you know, random things. So I'm just going to, you know, leave it the way it is, and now we can send off a messenger to whoever owns Verexand Castle, which is Belgier, no less. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. He has 100 relation with us. He's actually happy, by the way, with me executing people, which is actually hilarious. He still has 100 relation with me, so it seems like quote-unquote evil vassals are perfectly fine with that kind of action, but honorable vassals are obviously not okay with that kind of action. So that's actually really good to know. And otherwise, let's move on. Hopefully, yeah, there we go. My messenger has finally arrived, and now we can speak to Mr. Belgier. Okay. I'd like Verexand Castle, please. I will trade you Remtor Castle. Ah, he's not really looking for that so much. I could give him some extra cash for it. Yeah, I really don't want to give him 238,000, but I'm gonna do it nevertheless. I know it's a lot of money. I know. It is a lot of money, but these are the kinds of things that I feel like have to be done. I feel like these kinds of decisions, while they are difficult to make at the time, I think in the end, they are definitely going to be paying us dividends all the way in the future. Because these kinds of situations, you really don't want to be on the front lines consistently defending your fiefs, you know what I mean? You really don't want to do that. Anyway, food variety increased recovery rate by 5%. That's pretty good. Yeah, I'm actually just going to take that because the other thing is a small increase to clan life expectancy, and the other thing is not implemented, which is obviously pointless, and because clan life expectancy is not actually enabled at the moment because death and all that stuff is not enabled. Okay, so increase stack size for what? Didn't I take this last time? Huh, maybe I didn't. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to increase the stack size for my quivers and all that sort of thing, and that is going to be fine. So let's go over to Sionen right now, and wait a minute, is that a minor faction over there? I think that might be a minor faction. Yes, it is. Hello there, Griff of the Wolfskins. I will be attacking you, sir. Hope you do not mind. I'm sure he does. And we will otherwise be taking every single other thing. Take all the loot there as well. Let's go back into Sionen, and I will make sure not to sell them this time before executing them. So let's just go ahead, execute this guy. There we go. You know, the one thing that I would like to be able to disable is all of these relation decrease messages, because I don't know whether you've noticed, but what happens is whenever one of these messages comes up, as a way to sort of draw attention to it, the game sound of every other effect in the game is reduced, with the exception of just this message sound effect coming up. Don't know whether you've noticed that when you're playing your own game or when you're, you know, watching my series or anything like that, but yeah, it is a little bit distracting and kind of annoying as well because of all these messages coming up. I can't actually see the buttons at the top here either, but of course, you know, someone's probably going to say in the comments, well, you know, if you didn't want to see those messages, then you shouldn't execute people, or something along those lines. But yes, anyway, we're going to continue just trying to eliminate these minor factions as much as we possibly can. And there's another guy right here. And we'll take all the prisoners too. Take all the loot. I have so many weapons, by the way. I should probably sell a bunch of my weapons because I think I'm probably carrying around so much in terms of weapon weight that should probably be rectified relatively soon. I mean, generally, if I was utilizing smithing as a way to make cash, then obviously that would be the most efficient means, but there are people out there that get very upset if you use smithing, which not entirely sure why, but apparently that is a very offensive thing to do for some reason. I don't know why, but anyway, let's see if I can just sell a couple of these So sell a couple of these swords here. Okay, so I'm aiming to keep around 500,000 if I can, but bear in mind we don't really need cash at the moment. Cash is not really the most pressing matter for me and my army at this time. The one thing that I am very much wanting to try to maintain control over are my fiefs. Try to make sure that you know, we're looking good with the security and the various other things. Harbingers of Wrath, I should probably eliminate the extra minor factions as well, if I can. So let's just do that. Oh, never mind. She's actually just running away. Apparently she's just running away. Oh, okay. That's kind of interesting. So apparently you cannot execute the extra minor factions that have been added as a result of Calradia at War, or the Custom Spawns mod, as you may or may not know it. Anyway, I don't really know where to go now. I would love to be able to eliminate the... not the Vlandians. I'd love to be able to eliminate the Botanians. However, the problem with that is that there's a relatively large army wandering around at the moment, and I'm not seeing any Vlandian armies in the area, so it's kind of making things a bit difficult. But I might be able to take Pen Cannock. I wouldn't mind taking Pen Cannock if at all possible, so let me see if I can do that. Actually, I'm going to see if I can maybe attack Calradia. Can I get him? Yes, we got him. Just in time. Just in time. Alright, let's auto-resolve against him, take him prisoner, and... Wait a minute, did I just... What actually happened just now? Did I just take the... Did I just take the... No, wait a minute. He brought... Okay, I'm speechless, as you can no doubt tell, but yes, he actually brought the entirety of the militia to the outside. Right. Well, this is interesting. That actually made things a lot easier for me, hilariously enough. That made things so much easier for me, because now Pen Cannock has, well, nothing in the garrison. So this should be a very easy victory for us, if I can actually get back there in a suitable space of time, because Dirthart is no doubt going to launch a siege against there, or Dagonich, or one of those guys are going to go over there and see what they can do. But yes, anyway, Varric Sandcastle is something that we just gained. So let's see. Ah, the loyalty is looking great here. Look at that. +4. Really, really nice. Bear in mind that the main reason why I also wanted to do this as well is because, of course, we are part of the Vlandian culture. So we are no longer receiving a -3 for every single day that we are the governor of a foreign fief. In other words, Botanian or Sturgian or anything like that. Hilariously enough, Revel is looking pretty good as it is. I'm not entirely sure why that is, to be honest, because that is definitely a Sturgian fief. But apparently they don't mind us ruling over them for some reason. Anyway, I have Calradia still in my possession, don't I? Should I execute him? I mean, I could theoretically execute him. He has -67 relation with me at the moment, and he does have Maranath, however. But he's never going to give it to me now, so I might as well execute him, eh? There we go. Executed. The leader of the Botanians. That's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good. Anyway, let's sell all of our loot. There we go. Another 40,000. And then we can also try and sell some of this stuff there. We got another 83,000 for us right there. Let's try and recruit some troops, because I do need some after that extremely weird auto-resolve, because obviously I must have just been close enough for Calradia to draw in the militia to the fight. And if I'd taken a closer look at it, then obviously I would have seen that, but I didn't. So yeah, we had a very close call, because technically I could have literally just had a super fast defeat right there. But thankfully, we were able to achieve victory against all odds. Alright, so I'm going to continue recruiting units from here, and then I'm going to make my way back into Botanian territory. Ah, it looks as though Dirthart's army has been defeated, hilariously enough. I actually have no idea how he would have been defeated. Oh, I think I know. Yes, these guys right here. Okay, so they obviously ganged up on him or something like that, so I can assume that is the reason? Yeah, that's a pretty obvious reason, isn't it? Oh yes, indeed. Yeah, otherwise we're just going to continue accepting ransoms here. Remtoil Castle has been taken and then taken back, hilariously enough. And we are just going to continue auto-resolving here, letting this guy go. I need to level up some more people. There we are. We got some more experience going on there. There we are. Okay, yeah, so here's the thing. I really want to take Maranath if at all possible, because that's right next to Sionan, and Sionan is definitely something that I would like to maintain control over if at all possible. This is going to go to Mr. Belgier, because he actually owned it before. I'm going to give it to him and give me an opportunity to give myself a small relation increase with him, even though I think we already had 100 with him or something like that, so maybe it doesn't even make any difference. Aradweir is over there as well. I'd like to potentially attack him too. I mean, there's a whole bunch of people in this area that I'd like to attack for a variety of reasons. And, oh, I did not mean to take that guy prisoner, actually. Oh, well, never mind, never mind. Okay, I guess I'll just get a little bit of extra cash for him then, I suppose. Ah, this guy I want to take prisoner. There we go. That's the fellow I'm talking about. There we go. Oh, very nice indeed. Let's get him. Take him prisoner. You know, that would just be the way of things, wouldn't it? Where I'd literally go into a fight and say, I'm going to take this guy prisoner, and then I end up letting that one go. You know, that's the kind of thing that will happen to me. Yes. Fantastic, isn't it? Okay, so let's execute him. There we go. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so there are 600 units here. I've gained the deceitful trait, literally because I am just executing every single person in the world at this point. Well, technically not every single person, because we're just attacking the minor factions, you know? We're just attacking the minor factions. I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? And, yeah, generally we're going to continue doing that. I'm going to take these guys prisoner, because I'm going to go over to Sionan in just a second, because we are currently in a situation where I would like to sell the guy that we just got, obviously. None of the minor faction guys, but the other ones. And we'll take them prisoner as well. So much cash. You can really gain a huge amount of cash just by literally auto-resolving against these slightly weaker vassals. There we go. There's that one. There's that one. There we are. Okay, fantastic. Whatever happens, happens. I'm going all out to eliminate these minor factions. Alright, so now we can sell our prisoners. There we go. Hopefully Sionan's gotten some money back. Yes, indeed they do. So now we can sell all of this for 31,000. Very good. I'm now at 870,000, if you can believe it. That's pretty crazy. And we do have an army right about here. I think I could probably deal with them quite simply, I think. What do you think? I think I should be able to make it. Let's do it. Alright. We are quite considerably outnumbered in almost every respect. We are outnumbered in terms of combat strength, and we're also outnumbered in terms of actual unit presence. So this might be a little bit problematic, but I have a lot of faith in my Vlandian sharpshooters. So let's just hope that we have a good vantage point. If we don't, then I think it's probably going to be a defeat. But, well, let's see. Let's see. Maybe I'll do okay. Maybe I'll do all right. Okay, so hello there. Where are we going? Okay, we're going over here. Let's get my forces around about there. Let's get my Vlandian sharpshooters there as well. I'll just make sure that they're in a loose formation. Put my cavalry over here too. I should probably tell my cavalry at some point to follow me, but generally whenever I tell them to do that, they always end up dying for some random reason or another, so it's something that I kind of try and avoid. Nice damage. Unfortunately, many of these guys actually have polearms. Ah, I see. They're actually moving over in this direction. Okay. We're going to have to maneuver a little bit differently. I don't know why the enemy is going over in this particular area. Ah, it's because they want to utilize the mountain here. Or the small hill. Yeah, that makes sense now. That definitely makes sense.
Infantry, move! Forward! Move!
And we're not even using our cavalry right now. My cavalry has literally just been standing back there doing not much at all. Amusingly though, the Vlandian sharpshooters are really not doing much. Ah, there we go. Now they are finally doing something because they are in a good position to do so. Beforehand, they were kind of still getting set up and everything. And bear in mind that my own infantry are standing right in the middle of them, which is not really great. That is definitely making things much more difficult for the sharpshooters than it has to be. But I very, very scarcely have any high advantage areas to make use of here, unfortunately. So we're gonna have to do what we can, and hopefully my forces will not take too many casualties. I'm gonna speed things up here real quick. It seems like we are fighting very, very nicely. We are skirmishing with them very slightly here as well. In this case, I think the skirmishing really did actually help us. But most of the time, skirmishing, especially when you have a relatively strong army with a lot of high-tier units, skirmishing is usually not the best way to go, because you really just want to push your advantage as much as you possibly can and just try and eliminate the enemy very quickly. Anyway, we are going to let these people go. Ooh, these people really do not like me one bit. I mean, that is to be expected, of course. Ah, this guy. Oh, yeah. I'm going to take you prisoner, sir. Sorry. He is going to the chopping block in just a second. And there we go. All right. Not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, so let's just take all the prisoners there. We've got a lot of armor right there, too. And 43 unit level ups. Very nice indeed. And now we can go over to Sionen. Balgard is actually under siege as we speak, but obviously that's not really my point. You know, that's not really my thing that I need to worry about. So I can pretty much just relax about those kinds of things. And I'm just going to execute this guy. There we go. And as I say, I feel like these messages, they need to be, there needs to be an option to disable them or something like that, because I feel like it's a little bit too intrusive most of the time to continuously see these messages popping up. And literally, I don't know whether you noticed, but there were messages like these popping up in the entirety of that particular fight. And I only executed 2 people before that, and it had been about 5, maybe 7, 8 minutes by that time. And yeah, you can kind of tell that that's a pretty significant amount of spam, I guess you could kind of call it. Anyway, we've made peace with the Western Empire obviously a while ago, and this is what's currently going on here. So Kulstad obviously is now in a rebellion. Varcheg is also in a rebellion, and Lagata is also in a rebellion. Balgard doesn't look particularly good at the moment. Amusingly enough, Berikan is going over there to try and see whether he can defend it, which I'm kind of looking forward to seeing whether he can do anything there. Oh, it seems like, yes, he did. He was capable of defending it, apparently. So that's always good. And otherwise, I think that's probably going to be it for this episode. There's only 3 towns and 1 castle remaining that the Battanians even have control over. So it seems like this is probably the last stand of the Battanians, and we're going to see what happens with them. This is the balance of power. Unfortunately, it seems like 1 clan ended up leaving for some reason. I don't know why one of the clans would leave, but apparently that's what they did. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.